Hi guys, so good evening and welcome back to my magical world. It's me, Frostbite Goddess, your favorite celebrity here in the Philippines. It's 11:02 in the evening right now. Today is Friday, July 18, 2025. Yan. Correct, so we're going to continue reading and sana ma-post to for today because um, I'm savoring the time, the days when it's rest day. So we are reading. I'm going to read for you pages 229 and 230 of the book Master Key. This is just a continuation of our session, reading sesh. So yan, kakaligo ko lang and I have to be here with you just because. So as she began her work on the hands, however, she realized yet again how different she was in her way of thinking. The other students in the department were mostly men, and they tended to reduce everything to questions of engineering, how to pack the robot with as many mechanical options as possible so it could move and act in reasonably human ways. They thought of the robot as intrinsically a machine. To build it meant solving a series of technical issues and creating a kind of moving computer that could mimic some basic thought patterns. So imagine when I'm still on my primary days, elementary days. So, alam niyo yung mga sci-tech na book? They used to give it to us. And then, they have more of like studies, theories, or a series of yung first stages of experiments, diba? But that was way long. That was, a decade ago. More than a decade ago. That was a long time, guys. So imagine, everything is materializing right now. So our world is really, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible, guys. Okay? So Matsuka had a much different approach. She wanted to create something as lifelike and anatomically correct as possible. That was the real future of robotics, and to reach such a goal meant engaging in questions that were on a much higher level. What makes anything alive and organically complex? To her, it was more important to study evolution, human physiology, and neuroscience as it was to immerse oneself in engineering. Actually, we think, di ba, you and I, guys, every one of you, ako kasi I'm living in a third world country. So, I know that if you are living, dyan sa US and, countries where it's advanced, di ba? So, the technology here isn't that, para pa kaming nasa old age. So, dyan, mabilis na sa inyo lahat and everything is, more efficient. Okay, so, what I'm trying to say that, the reality is we are already in a really advanced, state. It's just that we have different privileges and, depending on what area are you in this earth, diba? So we have different tech advancement, diba? So swerte nyo kapag nandyan kayo pinanganak or was able to migrate somewhere where everything is going efficiently, effectively, and beneficial for the people. You are one hell of a lucky, guys. So perhaps it would complicate her career path, but she would follow her own inclinations and see where they led. In going about her design, Matsuka made a key decision. She would begin to building a model of robotic hand that would replicate the human hand as closely as possible. In attempting such an enormous task, she would be forced to truly understand how each part functioned. For instance, in trying to recreate all of the various bones of the hand, she came upon all kinds of seemingly irrelevant bumps and grooves. The bone at the knuckle of the index finger has a bump that made it larger on one side. In studying this one detail, she discovered its function, giving us the ability to grasp objects in the center of the hand with more power. It seemed odd that such a bump would evolve expressly for that purpose. Probably it was some mutation that ended up becoming a part of our evolution as the hand became increasingly important in our development. So, continuing in this line, she worked on the palm of her robotic hand, which she had determined was in many ways the key to the design. For most engineers, robotic hands were designed for optimal power and maneuverability. They would build in all kinds of mechanical options, but to make it work, they would have to pack all of the motors and cables in the most convenient place, the palm, rendering it completely rigid. After designing hands like this, they would then fob them off to software engineers to try to figure out to how bring back maneuverability because of the built-in rigidity. However, the thumb would never be able to touch the pinky, and engineers would inevitably end up with the same high limited robotic hand. Matsuko started from the other hand. Her goal was to discover what makes the hand dexterous. And it was clear that one critical requisite was to have a flexible, curved palm. Thinking on this higher level, it then became clear that the motors and cables had to be placed somewhere else instead of jamming the hand with motors everywhere so that everything could move. She determined that the most important maneuverable part of the hand was the thumb, the key to our grasping skills. That is where she would put more power. She continued on this path, uncovering more and more of the details that went into the marvelous mechanics of the human hand. As she worked in this peculiar way, other engineers would scoff at her and her strange biological approach. What a waste of time, they would tell her. So in the end, however, what she called her anatomically correct test bed hand soon became the model for the industry, revealing whole new possibilities for prosthetic hands, vindicating her approach and gaining her fame and recognition for her engineering skills. Are you okay, guys? So, fast pace. Kasi I'm trying to have to upload this on time. Okay, so ano tayo? Real time na tayo dapat, guys, kasi I have the time of my life. This, however, was the only beginning of her quest to get at the organic nature of the hand and so literally recreate it. After graduating with a master's degree in robotics, she returned to MIT to pursue PhD in neuroscience. Wait lang. Currently armed with deep knowledge about the neurosignals that make the hand-brain connection so unique. She is pursuing the goal of creating a prosthetic hand that can actually connect to the brain, operating and feeling as if it were real. To reach such a goal, she continues to work on high-end concepts such as the influence of the hand-brain connection and our thinking in general. In her lab, she has done tests to see how many people manipulate ambiguous objects with their eyes closed. Wait lang ah. Baka close ko lang window. Ayan. She studies how they explore them with their hands and records the elaborate neural signals that are generated in the process. She wonders if there could be a connection between such exploration and abstract thought processes, such as when we are confronted with a problem that seems difficult to solve. She is interested in building such exploratory sensations into the prosthetic hand. So in other experiments in which subjects move a virtual reality hand, she has discovered that the more people are made to feel that the hand is literally a part of their bodies, the greater the degree of control they have. So, of course, realistically speaking, di ba, dapat ganun talaga. Creating such sensations will be a part of the ultimate prosthetic hand she is working on. Although its realization is years away, the design of such neurologically connected hand will have technological consequences for beyond robotics. So in many fields, we can see and diagnose a mental disease, which we shall call technical lock. What this means is the following: in order to learn a subject or skill, particularly one that is complex, we must immerse ourselves in many details, techniques, and procedures that are standard for solving problems. If we are not careful, however, we become locked into every single problem in the same way, using the same techniques and strategies that become so imprinted in us. It is always simpler to follow such route. In the process, we lose sight of the bigger picture, the purpose of what we are doing. How each problem we face is different and requires different approach. We adopt a kind of tunnel vision. So, at the end of the day, when you are, creating something, you need to, like, see to it that you are looking from a bigger perspective, okay? So, not only the single, the intricate details, but the overall out the overall outlook. So ayun na guys, and thank you guys for listening. Thank you for helping me make this world a better place for all of us and for the future generation. Okay, I'm reviewing some legal matters. Okay, kasi I'm gonna be slightly working soon. So, ayan na guys. Take care.